Hey there, just gonna insert this little piece in before my video to let you know that I'm gonna put a link in the description here, trying to get people off of these platforms as much as we can. So I'm on Odyssey, I'm on LBRY, BitTube. They all get synced up, and when the videos get deleted from here, they don't get deleted from the other ones. So if you're ever looking for any videos that get deleted, there's been quite a few. That's how you get them. The other thing is there's a channel that we have, a crypto channel. Let me know if you're interested in anyone. And also there's another one that's for just the truth about what's going on in COVID, so we can freely share information what's going on. So about the protests all over the world that's going on, about the real doctors that know what they're talking about, specialist doctors instead of the celebrity doctors that the governments of the world hire to spread their narrative and their lies. So we just put true information on there basically. So these are both groups on. Well, I'm only going to put one. I want to leave the group a little bit closed for crypto. So just let me know if you're interested in that one. I'll be selective on that. But the other one, is that it's called the Anti-Narrative Critical Thinkers channel on Signal. So if you've got the Signal app, this is a way to usurp, to get around the totalitarian control that we're seeing in the world right now. That's it, really cool. Continue on to the video. Bye. Hey, welcome to Red Pill Diaries. I'm going to try again to use this sticky little thing. What's it called? A DJ something, like a gimbal. Anyway, I find it extremely difficult. I hate technology nowadays. So what I want to speak about today was just some realities and facts, which YouTube will no doubt remove, like they did in my other few videos on this topic. But I'm just going to do it again. I don't care. Because it's truth, it's reality. So I'm just looking at the global statistics from Statista.com. I'm looking at the deaths per million. I got sent a thing the other day that was fact checked about 5 different world leaders dying, and it was fact checked to be false. I only looked, and it's a laugh, the whole fact checkers thing, since we know how many things they've got wrong, and that they during the peak of the time where they're all furiously telling us we're all wrong about everything, we then have exposure now that they were wrong, and yet there's no repercussion for being wrong. And of course, even the old videos from them won't be removed by companies like YouTube, because this is all to support a narrative. So I'm just going to delve into this here. Looking at New Zealand, someone commented on my video. You always get a complete moron commenting where the morons love to make things obtuse because it allows them to look smart. So this guy said that didn't age well. What part of the video about New Zealand and Sweden didn't age well? That we've still got COVID lockdowns. We still have a situation where, from what I understand, Sweden's still free to walk around, even though they're a socialist country, still free to walk around, whereas New Zealanders aren't. You can't come in and out of New Zealand as you please. I know, because I lived there for half my life, and my mother lives there now. So people need to stop chatting shit, right? So even my mum said, oh, it's gone back to normal. Oh, great, I don't have to stay in quarantine anymore. No, I have to stay in quarantine. That's not back to normal then. So New Zealand's deaths per million are 5.29. Now, one of the countries on that list, I'm only looking at one at a time. I might do a video for each one. Tanzania, so Zanzibar, all that kind of area, you know. I want to speak about mediocrity in people. It's something that Michael, what's his bloody name again? He was a guest of Lex Friedman. I'll probably put the video down there. Very good watch. He spoke about something that both me and my second oldest brother had spoken about many years ago, and that was the rise of we didn't word it in such ways. We weren't so kind, but the rise of mediocre leaders. Now, I'm talking about people who really took a page out of the dysgenics playbook, and that's what we seem to have all over the world. Is along with this narrative to replace, or let's say vilify, white males. to remove them to society. What you've seen all over the world as well is, besides the installation of women into positions, like the forced installation, I'm all for women empowerment. I'm not all for a woman being forced into a job because she has a vagina and because she may have darker skin than the other woman who applied for the job. And this is a case I've seen in my own life in the UK and in New Zealand. I've had jobs I couldn't apply for because I'm male. And to get that through your head right now, I couldn't apply for many jobs in New Zealand because I had a dick. That's how disgusting this sexism is. And that's exactly what it is sexism. This all ties in together, because what you have is then this, we already have situations around the world, whereas Lex's guest mentioned the ex-president of Romania, a very just moronic looking turd of a man who put his country through hell. We've seen look at the Jong-il family, Jong-un whatever, Kim Jong-un, Kim Jong-il. They all look very mediocre, don't they? And look how all these people have to behave so that one man at a time can hold on to his family's legacy, his dynasty. Look how everyone else has to be treated. Look at the USA, look at Janet Yellen, look at almost everyone in power, look at Joe Biden, no great brain on that guy, and look at him. And now after all this time, even the old Obama doctor says he might have to be taken off. You can look it up yourself, YouTube. Obama's old doctor is saying that he might have to be taken out. So yet people like me who said it over a year ago that the guy looks like he has senile dementia, because I've been around people with senile dementia, so I know what the signs are. And my idiot psychiatrist friend, who should know the signs because he wants to blindly back up the left, has to defend it as if he's not a doctor anymore, as if he doesn't know the signs. He knows the signs. And that's this willful ignorance that we have in the world right now. But also something I've noticed quite a lot, as I'll get back to, is having worked in government, and also having worked under some good women, but also some ridiculously ineffective female CIOs and CEOs and things like that. I would say most of them were ineffective. The one sign that I always notice is mediocrity. That is very plain, boring looks, extremely boring personality, and not that bright. How are these people getting in that position? Well, one excuse that I came up with a while ago in New Zealand was that good-looking people, especially good-looking males, they will do everything, and males with a personality, they will do everything they can to give you a criminal record. So that includes picking you up for doing almost nothing, offering you a plea bargain which you take, and then before you know it, you find out you can't get a good job because it was actually a certain type of record you get, and like disturbing the peace, or let's say you got in a fight. Oh, that's a violent record, and now you can't get a job. You find your whole future's destroyed, right? And people who are boring or ugly or just mediocre in many ways will not tend to get in that scenario. One is, if you're a guy, you haven't got the competition of other males trying to cut you off at the feet because you cracked onto a girl that they had spied from 1,000 yards away and will never speak to in their lives. These are the kind of things that happens to each. Or if you're a good-looking female, like all the other women are jealous of you, so they're gonna do everything they can to kind of screw you up, or say, "Oh, miss, whatever it is, I saw her smoking weed behind the shed." Whatever it is. As much as good-looking people can get ahead further, and smart people can get ahead further, they also suffer the effects of gamma males and gamma females. That these are the most sneaky of the types, who will do anything they can to get ahead, and are usually defined by their jealousy, and and the fact that they will stoop to no level to get what they want, at any level, sorry. So I want to bring up this France 24 article here about this very mediocre looking woman in comparison to the previous leader. Look, a normal good looking black man of probably in his 60s or something by the look of things. Look, I can probably just get that information here if I look in, let's see, his death and his birth. Born 1959, there you go, 60. So that is, so I was right. So he was 60. He's 62 years old. So So there's him, normal-looking guy, a man of God. So he's saying just pray, whatever. I mean, that's a lot of Africa's like that. I mean, the Bible Belt in America is the same. I'm not gonna, it's not, religion's not my thing. Although, belief in God, I'm in with that one. Right. So, and God may just be the universe. I don't actually know the nature of God. I don't profess to understand. Getting back to this thing here. Look at this thing. Look at it. I'll tell you right now, I judge a lot on faces, and I lived in Africa for a number of years, and I was actually conceived there as well, years earlier than that. Not that that matters, but I'm just saying, I can tell when someone is a piece of shit. This person is a piece of shit. I don't even have to know her. I just know by the look in the eyes, the overall look in the face, and the mediocrity of everything about her, even her teeth, everything. And I hate to go by that. It's like going by phrenology, but there is something in it. So I'm going to put my ignorance aside, because a lot of people won't like what I'm saying there. I'm just going by the thousands and thousands and thousands of people who I've met in my life all over the world. I know mediocrity, and I know what they're like, their personalities, and when they get in a position of power. But here's the thing that really stands out to me. Tanzania's health minister on Friday, President Samia Suluhu, and it says a policy shift since she took over after the sudden death, just a sudden death of a healthy looking black man, and this absolute toad of a thing, unhealthy looking toad. But his sudden death at 62 years old. Really? Well, that's kind of strange. Or maybe he got COVID. Maybe he got the disease that almost everyone of that age who gets it, especially if they're healthy, survives from. Especially in a country that you can get a drug which I can't even mention on here now. So there we have the situation. So not just that, the fact that it said the sudden death of Tanzania's former COVID skeptic leader. And there's where you get it. So the guy is a COVID skeptic who, I'm just going to point out here as well, has a country with a much lower rate than one of the lowest in the world, the poster child of the world, the country that can lock itself down when other countries can't lock themselves down because they're not fucking islands. And if you look on here, by the way, you will actually see that in the spread of, I don't know where this thing is now, there's a picture view. I'll never find it while I'm on the video, just the way the videos always work. Anyway, you'll see that all these other islands are much lower than New Zealand, and that's because it's easy to protect an island. Stop acting like you're doing something special. But if you look at Tanzania on here, 0.36 deaths per million. So, confirmed cases, 509. I'm not buying for a second that the leader of a country who has access to the best medical care that anyone in the country will have, I'm not buying it that a guy who looks that healthy, who happened to be a COVID skeptic, who happened to be against this country being plugged with vaccines, because that is the case. I thought, based upon what I read from the fact checker from Reuters, because I thought, well, look, Reuters isn't as bad as all the pointer-owned companies like PolitiFact, and it's definitely not as bad as the corporate communists, corporate tyranny that you have from Facebook and Twitter, who will feed the narrative of the government, of the government that they choose, sorry. But it definitely has more credibility than most. Well, it doesn't really. Do I have it on here? Data. Okay, here you go. There you go. Let's look at this one here. So if we look at, sorry for the slow movement in this. I wonder if I can zoom in. Oh, I can. Yeah. Right, here you go. New Zealand, right there. So if you look, you will see Vanuatu, Timor, Mauritius, Tanzania, lower than New Zealand, right? On the scale, you can't really see. Turn that thing a little bit. There we go. There, lower New Zealand, and then we also have Vanuatu and others that of course they'll just say, oh, but these kind of places, Laos, but yeah, they're just not counting properly. Yeah, whatever. So what I'm saying there, it's just I think the obvious. Oh damn! Let's get this thing around here. Here we go. So I think the obvious is going on here. I'm going to look into the rest slowly. I'm going to do a bit more searching into this one. Although I had planned to make this video about mediocrity. That's what this was about. And then I just can't see a better example than her. Just ugh. So that's the bullfrog in charge. And straight away, boom. Because the thing is, there's a certain type of face I've seen again and again and again in British politics, and in African politics. When you get someone who's corrupt, you know what they look like. Nelson Mandela wasn't corrupt. Thabo Mbeki was corrupt. Zuma corrupt, definitely. Zuma, she has a Zuma face. I'm just saying. So more mediocre people. It's just, I just find it really disgusting. Anyway, I'm going to look a bit more into this, but the theme of my next few videos is going to be about mediocre leaders. Look at Boris Johnson. Look what a just a fat turd he looks. He just looks like that kid in gym class, like, come on, Boris, when you can do it. The rest of the class is ahead of you. Oh, come on, miss. Can I just sit here and eat crisps on the sideline? That's what you imagine Boris Johnson as, and yet he comes from that background, that toffee nose eaten background, that really believes they're an above breed, you know, that they're special, and you know, send you to war, won't send themselves. You know, Trump is the US equivalent of it, as much as you might like him. As much as I don't mind the guy, I'm just saying that he is elite. He's not what people think he is. He's not on your side. He's like every single other leader. They're not on your side, especially the mediocre ones. They're there for one reason, and that's because they're attracted to what power can bring them, because there's such mediocre personalities, mediocre intellect, and mediocre genetics from a physical perspective. This is why they chase power. We're living in a system right now, in a global system, that has systematically, even from the LGBTQ ZDP scenario, look at the kind of women that you get in these feminazi crowds. They just look like a bullfrog, most of them, with their pink hair and their piercings all over the place, and their tattoo sleeves. You know, it's a time that they're trying to make people who just have any look of purity about them. Oh, I'm going to sound like Hitler now. No, purity about them, and the fact that a man is looking for a woman who is pure, not a woman who's like, I'm a slut. Yeah, you deal with it. We can deal with it. You know why? Because we've never wanted to touch you anyway. You bullfrog-looking freak of a bitch. No one wants you. And it's really sad, but maybe if you put a little bit more care and effort, that some lower tier, if you actually had standards that were lower as well, because a lot of women nowadays, they all want the alpha or the sigma male, and they themselves are punching well above their weight. It's just it's pathetic. It's shadowboxing. So this is all related. I'm not going to hold back on these sort of things. Yes, the videos will get removed. I don't give a shit. This is like me spilling out what I've noticed for years. And now the more and more I see it, the more and more I see little weasel, short little freaks like Anthony Fauci, who talk a big game about something he knows nothing about, because the reality is people who do know about it, like the inventor of the PCR test, or this the Dr. McCulloch from Texas, one of the top cardiologists in the world. These people counter what he say. It's funny how people who have more notoriety in their field are the people being silenced, and the people who are celebrity doctors, who have been described as Kerry Mullis said, a moron, a celebrity doctor and a moron, that they have credibility. This short little weasel of a man who continually gets found out lying again and again and again. YouTube, who are going to ban this video soon because I'm talking bad about their puppet, their hero, their fellow puppet. You know, all they have to do is look at the amount of times he's been proven lying, flip-flopping what he said. Double mask is a prime example. Wearing no mask is a prime example. He says wear no mask. He says wear double mask. He says masks don't work, he says masks do work. No, I was just saying that because I was lying. He's even, I had to lie to defend doctors and stuff. The truth is all over the place if you bother to look for it. If you don't discount things for everything being basically move away your compulsion to label everything a conspiracy theorist, and look at everything on its own merits, whether it be a lie, whether it be the truth. You know what will happen is when you see, the big picture will form itself, and then the lies will crumble and fall away because they don't fit the jigsaw puzzle. And you'll find that most of those lies are what's called the truth by fact checkers. What's called what they say are lies are those things where the system narrative and the fact checkers that support them are calling them lies. Just like, for example, last year when the fact checkers said that there was no truth, or it shouldn't even be looked into, that there was a lab leak hypothesis, when there clearly is. They've been proven wrong, yet they're still giving credibility. You talked about it back then, you still might have your account removed. They still got theirs. They've never had a strike. This is why it's so telling, everything that's going on right now. Although, right, when it really comes down to it, this is obviously part of population control. I don't really mind. We've got too many people in the world. Most people are fucking morons. I would say that it's to a stage where if we keep the amount of morons that we have in the world right now, there'll be limited time for mankind to exist, potentially, to actually solve all the problems we have in the world. So when it really comes down to it, if it wasn't for the fact that I can't stand pedophiles, I've got a big problem with them, and also people who commit bestiality. Anyone who commits evil, really. But if you prey on the weakest in society or weakest on earth, that is the animals and the children, that's why I detest you. And people like him, the apple doesn't fall back far from the tree. That's why you know that Bill Clinton and him are part of this big network, the big network that gets protected and is still protected now. Even Ghislaine Maxwell, every piece of evidence that gets uncovered, the judges rush to block it all. Why is that? Because they're all part of the same little pedo cabal. That's what it is. There'd be no other reason to do it unless, maybe he got caught with like David Cameron fucking a pig, right? The ex-leader of the UK, fucking a pig's head. Maybe it was something they did during their initiation ceremony, I don't know. But whatever it is, they have something on them, but I don't think that's enough to make them do it. Go, you know what, they've got me fucking the head of a pig, but I've still got to bring down this paedophile network. You'd still do that? No, I think they're part of that network. That's why. So that's why the judges of the world always protect them, because they are part of the evil system. Remember, the reason we cannot do anything about these ourselves, we can't take the law into our own hands. When we see something going wrong, we can't do anything about it. You know why? Because we know that we're giving up our life. It's like, okay, do I want to potentially have a situation where I help bring someone to potential justice only for them to be set free and for me to be locked up for 10 to 30 years, as what actually happens if you really try to detain an evil person? Because the system is completely there to protect evil and to put you in prison, put you in the clink. If you're a dissenter, if you're a white male, good-looking guy, the system's there to make sure that you are brought down. Now, I'm not saying that white guys who are good looking can't do well in life. I'm just saying that they are a target of the system. I'm saying that if they slip up in life, the system will come down in like a ton of bricks, and it will not do that to certain other people. I know, because I've faced court against these certain other people, and that the system has gone lenient on them. The system's allowed them away with perjury, multiple occasions, 2 police officers as well, and also another kind of short inbred Italian freak that tried to destroy my life years ago, and the system fully supported him. He's a cocaine dealer as well. System fully supported him. Me, tax-paying person at the time, refused to pay tax after that, was a law-abiding citizen paying a extortionate rate of tax. That's how the system works, right? I'm going to leave it at that instead of doing my usual rabbit on the thing, but I'm using statistics, Google. I'm just using all the things that you can't call lies, you pieces of shit that you are. Yeah. Okay, so there we have it. Tanzania, much lower than New Zealand, much lower than New Zealand, and not believing the vaccines. Yeah, that's about it. Cheers.